Hey Fragrance family, I'm Daver.
And I'm Steven.
And we're the Fragrance Bros. Coming at you again with another review with special guest Steven one more time.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Steven?
I'm doing pretty well, Dave. Thank you again very much for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, the honor is all mine. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
And today we are reviewing Cèdre Atlas from Atelier Cologne. Now, date introduced is 2015. It's classified as a woody. Notes are bergamot, lemon, blackcurrant, cedar, jasmine, apricot, white amber, papyrus, and vetiver. Now, Steven, what did you get out of longevity out of this?
Longevity on this one, I hate to say, was poor. Poor to below average. I probably got 2 to 3 hours on my skin, and then it very quickly became a skin scent. This is one of those scents where I find myself reapplying it several times throughout the day, which is why I also bought the travel spray, and I've been using this one a lot.
You know, that's one common complaint that I think most people have about Atelier Cologne is that they're very light. That's by design mostly, but
yeah, sure.
The interesting thing about this fragrance for me was this was really loud on me.
Wow.
And this is the loudest Atelier Cologne that I've experienced.
Out of here. Wow.
Which blows my mind. So on me, I had really excellent longevity. I want to say it was like 9 or 10 hours. Something like that. I mean, it was a long time. So that really surprised me. What about projection?
Projection was actually pretty good for the first hour or two. I would say average to a little bit above average, but it was only for like the first couple of hours, and then it started to sit closer to the skin, unfortunately.
On me, I thought it was really, again, excellent.
That's great.
For a good couple of hours. And I mean, it was really loud again.
That's great.
I don't know what the deal is on this one, but it was just really potent on me. Season, I'd say this probably works best in the spring and for daytime. And purpose, I would say this is great for casual, and I think this works really well for work situations too.
Yeah, this is definitely a versatile scent when it comes to that. I think you can wear this casually, work. I would probably even wear this semi-formally or formally as well. Now,
Steven, what does this remind you of?
This reminds me of a really well done cedar note. Now, unfortunately, I've smelled cedar essential oil. I don't think I've ever smelled Atlas cedar essential oil, which is what is being used in this scent. And Atlas cedar is, I think, one of the most precious varieties of cedar, and it's found in many different parts of the Middle East, like Morocco and Algeria, if I'm not mistaken. And the cedar wood note in here is really, really well done. This is probably my second favorite cedar note in a scent, right behind Mr. Marvelous by Byredo. I love the cedar wood note in this one.
And you're right, it has right off the top, right when you spray it on, it's cedar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, cedar scents are base notes. Mm-hmm. And they show up later on in the development of the fragrance. But this one is, you know, as the name says, it's cedar right from the start.
Yeah.
And when I first smelled this, I thought, you know, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not, because I got just the cedar. But I thought if that's all it is, I don't really like it. But once I put it on my skin, I mean, it just bloomed. It turns into like this something magical about an hour after you spray it on. It just turns into like this really fruity, peachy, woody smell, and I think it's great. Now this is from Atelier Cologne's Collection Azure line, one of their newer lines. I'm a big fan of Atelier Cologne. I like several of their scents. I have 3 of them. They do a fantastic job with just really kind of lighter scents. You know, kind of a spin on the traditional eau de cologne, but with a modern take on it. Most of the ones that I've had last a lot longer than a typical EDC, thank God.
Yeah, same here.
But they're still on the lighter side. I think people have to take that into account when they come into Atelier Cologne, is that, you know, you may have to apply twice in a day or something like that to get kind of your money's worth for the day. But I don't see that as a problem, because I really just like their scents a lot. They just have this really refined, clean quality to them. And this one is just another one of them. You know, I didn't know how they were going to pull off a woody scent. I would say most of their best scents are their citrus scents. And
yeah, exactly.
They're really good. And so I was really kind of almost skeptical about how their woody scent, their cedar scent would do, and I think I think it's great.
Yeah, I think they really knocked it out of the park with this one. I actually have to share your sentiments on this one, because when you think about their fig-based scent and the pomelo scent and orange sanguine, and they just have a lot of scents dedicated to citrus notes. And I guess that's, usually typical of an EDC fragrance. So I was really happy to see their interpretation of a cedarwood-based scent, and I wasn't disappointed with this one.
Yeah, to me, the magical part of this scent, when everything kind of just blooms up, is really just the most amazing part of this. I get a lot of apricot, and I do get kind of, I get that cedar. Obviously, that cedar stays the whole time. And I get kind of wafts of a little bit of the jasmine. I get wafts of a little bit of the black currant. But I really just get kind of like this fruity cedar type of smell. And I don't know if you've been around like fresh cedar or something, but I used to work at a guitar store, and cedar is a very common top wood to use on acoustic guitars.
Okay.
It's one of the more common ones that you can use. And there's something about cedar that is dry, has like this facet of a sweetness to it as well. And this kind of captures that perfectly. It has like that sweet wood smell.
To me, it also smells a little peppery. It smells a little peppery in the opening, and then I definitely get like the apricot and the black currant and a little bit of that sweetness underneath everything. I think it's a really, really nice scent, and I'm particularly happy with the fact that the cedarwood note does stick around for the entire longevity of the scent. I guess I can't say it's the most non-linear scent. I do think it changes from time to time, but I think that cedarwood note, like you mentioned, it does last for the entire longevity of the scent. And that's what I love the most about this scent, is that cedarwood note. So I was really, really happy with this one.
I think this is great for people who might like Molecule 01 or Eccentric 01. I don't think it really has Isoe Super in there, but it has like that real nice woodiness in there that those fragrances have. I think this is a really unisex scent. I think both men and women could really wear this and rock it really well. Before we started this video, you mentioned that your fiance really likes this too.
Yeah, she loves this one. It's really hard to tell the level of the juice in my bottle, but it's about halfway. And this is a pretty generously sized travel spray, and she steals this all the time because to her it reminds her of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, but the women's version. This one, I think, is a little bit more refined. It definitely smells more natural than the women's Light Blue, but there's still a lot of similarities in there. Like, I know Light Blue also has like some fruity notes, cedarwood, citrus, so I think a lot of those elements really give way for a comparison to be made between the two.
I haven't smelled the women's version in a long time, but I think that's really cool. Now, what about compliments? Did you get many compliments when you wore this?
I actually have gotten a couple of compliments from this one, yeah. I wore this to work, and there's a receptionist that I greet every single time when I walk into my job and I sign in on the timesheet. And she always compliments me on the way that I smell. She doesn't really know that I'm into this hobby, but she knows me for wearing fragrances. And there was, I want to say, like a week or two straight when I wore this one every single day. And when I walked in, she would always say, "Oh, you smell good today, Mr. G." And I would just make my way to the classroom. But I've actually gotten a lot of compliments with this one, yeah.
That's cool. I did get a couple of notices when I wore this. The main notice that I got was from my wife because she hates it.
Oh, no.
In fact, she hates it so much, it gave her a sharp headache that day. That made things miserable all day long. She did not like it at all.
Sorry about that.
Bang for buck, this is $125 for 100 ml. Now, normally with Atelier Cologne, they have a 200 ml bottle option as well. But with this collection Azure, they don't really have that yet. And I'm not sure if they're going to add it later. The price is normal for their typical line, so $125 for 100 ml. I still think that's a good deal for what you're getting here. Your mileage may vary, obviously, on performance, like Steven and mine did, but a good value overall, I think, for what you're getting. Now, Steven, final rating, what do you give this?
I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. The only qualm that I really have with this one is the fact that I didn't get better performance out of it. Now, of course, that could be my fault. Maybe I have drier skin than most other people do. But it's really the performance that really hindered this one from getting a higher score in my book. Now, as I mentioned, this is my second favorite cedar note scent out there, and I think it's really, really well done. You can really smell the quality in this composition, and for that reason, I'm really happy to have a bottle in my collection, and I think I will definitely be repurchasing when the time comes. The only other, I guess, qualm that I have with it is that I do see some resemblances to Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue for Women, and I've been seeing a lot of fragrances lately that smell like Light Blue for Women. There's a Creed called Aqua Fiorentina, there's one by Note Fragrances called White Pepper Mandarin, and it seems like at least once every couple months I smell something and I'm like, wow, that smells like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue for Women. So I think we can pretty much throw this one in the same boat. But one of the things that this one has that I think gives it the upper hand is that it does smell more natural, and it is a little bit more complex, and the cedarwood note is just so well done. I would definitely have to give this a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 as well. I really love the scent. In my world, it's not going to be something that I have to buy because, you know, my wife hates it so much. So I have to take that into consideration. I think one of the things that I don't really care for is, to me, I'm not in love with the cedar note in here like Steven is. It doesn't blow me away in the way that I was hoping that it might.
Yeah.
So for me, 4 out of 5. So that's all we have for Cèdre Atlas. Have you tried it? Let us know down in the comments down below. Do you like it, love it, hate it? Let us know. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. We'll love you for it. And of course, go to Steven's channel, Redolescence, and go and like and subscribe to him as well.
Thank you.
Of course, Steven, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciated it.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And you can come on anytime. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time. We're the Fragrance Brothers. Bye.
Take care.